Netosportsglobal. Netosportsglobal. Hashtag NSG. Remember to like and subscribe.
A comfort zone is a very beautiful place, but no one grows there. So do not be very comfortable. Do away with the demon of laziness. Always go for what you've always wanted to go for. Believe you me, if you put your mind to it and your heart to it, it will definitely happen. This is Netosportsglobal, hashtag NSG, proudly powered by the Academy of Sound Engineering. A very warm welcome to episode 8 as we welcome our special guests. We've got Simangele Hadebe, one of the continental champions. You can tell these belts are not lying. You won't have it in your house if it doesn't belong to you. And of course, we also have her manager, her mother, her sister, her everything. She's become a blood sister indeed, Colleen Mcausland. Smash, a very good day and a warm welcome to Netosportsglobal.
Thank you so much for coming here.
Thank you so much for pulling through with the followers that I know you to have. I'm certain in no time we will be hitting 1,000 subscriptions. So thank you so much for coming to Netosportsglobal.
Thank you.
Madam Mcausland, a very good day and a warm welcome to Netosportsglobal.
Thanks for having us, Nita.
Awesome indeed. My name is Neto, Neto Chemani. Hosiati konyangazi mumkhatshwa phandle kunjani moyani vuguvugu dendele. Let's get on to it. Smash, what drew your attention to boxing?
I was actually motivated by the movie. I don't know if you know $1 Million Baby. Yeah, that's a movie that actually motivated me to start boxing, join boxing. I was an athlete in school. In school, so I think after that, once I joined boxing, it became more of a therapy for me than just a sport. I got hooked from there. It was May 2014, when I remember when I started.
Wow. And just from watching a movie and from there, you're like, I'm going straight to the boxing ring.
Yeah.
I'll deal with the technique when I get there.
Oh, yes. But I know the ending of that movie is not really something that will motivate a lot of people. But for me, I don't know, it struck me differently, I guess. Yeah.
And your first experience in the boxing ring, or did you go to the little corner where there's just a punching bag before you jump into the ring?
No, it wasn't like a big gym. It was in Guatemala. I started at Mila High with Coach King and Scar. I was the only female in the gym, which resembled the movie, as you know it. And it wasn't really, I don't think the coach wanted to train girls, because we know they're not too serious or they're not too focused. They're busy with boys and all of that. But with me, I think he took the time to actually say, you know what, maybe we can make a champion out of this girl.
And here you are, the continental champion. You see, it starts with just watching a movie. And chances are you could have been bored and said, what am I going to do with my time? Let me just watch a movie. Little did you know that out of a movie comes inspiration. Wow.
And I didn't know I had so much talent in it.
Amazing. How did you meet the lady sitting next to you, Colleen Mcausland?
Yeah, I met her in 2018. I met her through someone, 2 people actually referred me to Unleashed Boxing. Unleashed. It was a promotion. I found a coach, my late coach Lionel Hunter and Shireen Hunter, and I also found Colleen Mcausland as a manager there. I joined them in 2014 and I've been hooked since then. And then through that relationship we had with Auntie Colleen, that's when everything came out. I think the real me, the Smash that speaks out, the Smash that...
Champion in you.
Yes.
Wow.
The overcomer.
Colleen Mcausland, talk to us about working with a champion like Smash.
Yeah, Smash is a professional. She's easy to work with. She knows what she wants. She knows where she's going. So that makes my job easy. She's not hard work. She's determined, and she's disciplined. That's what you need: discipline, determination, and dedication. And that's exactly who Smash is. Boxing is her life. She's married to boxing, and she really knows what she wants. And so it makes my job easy.
When two people get introduced to each other, there's something that has to turn you on about the other. What turned you on about her for you to fully believe that actually I can work with Smash?
Yeah, so Smash she's authentic. There's just if you meet her, if you don't fall in love with Smash as a person, you either jealous of her, because she's just such a likable person. She never has a bad word to say about anyone. She's very humble. And she's just such a beautiful soul. I don't think there's a nasty bone in her. You wouldn't say she's a boxer because, boxers need to be tough, but she's different in the ring. Okay, don't underestimate the softness.
One of the NSG team members was saying, hey, she looks small from the pictures that I've seen.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, wait until you see her in the boxing
In
ring.
the ring, yeah,
Then
she's
you'll have
different.
something else to say.
Yeah.
Wow. Smash, at what point did you get convinced that, from a movie to the gym to joining boxing and taking it from one level to another? At what point were you persuaded that actually this was the right move to make?
At first, I was just training. When I started boxing, I was just training. And then one of my teammates was actually talking about the belts, being a champion, this and that. Talking about the WBC belt, he says that's the biggest belt. And I went and researched. That's when I learned about Mayweather, all of these other champions. And then I was like, no, that's the belt I want, And then I think the drive kicked in from there also. And also when I started my first fight also, it was with Melissa Miller. I drew with someone. I've never had any amateur backgrounds, not having any amateur backgrounds, and starting professional 2016 after 2 years of training as an amateur. Starting with someone with 7 fights, and then I went into the fight, I drew with the person. So I was like, okay, if I drew with her without having any amateur background and having to drew with this one that's only going to a 7th fight, I think she was going to a 7th fight or 6th fight. So let me just pursue this one, because even at the gym, they do see potential. They do see the discipline, persistence. I'm always in the gym. I'm always sparring. Doesn't matter, but I'm always there.
Boxing is not like squash, tennis,
Yo,
foot
no.
golf. Those nice sporting codes that you can actually brag about.
Not at all.
You could decide that I'm not going back to that ring when punches come your way. Have you ever met a scenario like that, and what persuaded you otherwise?
I did on my first round. When I went in there, she came in bulldozing. She came in throwing those punches. She wanted to put pressure. I think maybe because she thought, okay, it's her first fight. She's not going to take it. I've been in this game for longer than she is, and I know she's not, she can't be here, her first fight, and try and beat me. I own this one. So I was like, I don't know, something in me said, you know what, Ufelani, just take the gloves off and go back to your corner.
And
but
go watch
at
other
the same,
movies.
yes, at the same time, something said, you know what, no, if I'm giving up now, I'm gonna give up for the rest of my life. So let me just keep on pushing, and I did that.
Wow. Colleen, talk to us about the role that you play that, fine-tunes this champion sitting next to you.
So, my role for Smash is to get her fights, get her in the world rankings, and also manage her out of, not only in the ring, but out of the ring, her life, about her future and her goals. And I set goals for her, and she reaches them. You need your driver's license, you need a car, you need a home, and she reaches her goals. So it's really to give her a better future, and manage that.
So if she feels like a yogurt and her fridge is not working with her on that day, there's no yogurt in the fridge, can she text and say, Madam, I feel like...
She's so disciplined, she doesn't have to do that. She's never overweight. She's always conditioned. You know, she has to have her cheat days, otherwise, you know, it's boring.
How do you feel when she wins?
Yeah, ecstatic, eh? Ecstatic. I usually cry.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Tears of
Very
joy.
good. Yeah, yeah.
They
Because she
say-
puts in so much work, you
They say
know.
when you cry, you become a bit ugly. But if it's tears of joy, you still remain beautiful. So,
I
no,
hope so.
tears of joy will welcome any moment.
Yeah.
Smash, let's talk about your first fight as a champion. When was this? What happened?
It was in 2016, just as I turned professional. I think it was in Feb, the pro registration Feb, and then just the next month, in 2-3 weeks time, I received a contract, and then saying, "Here's my first fight." And then I was like, I was already in the gym, I was already training with the guys, so I just went in there. I just
Wow.
said, there's no chance. This is my chance to show that I am here and I'm here to box. I'm here to make a change. I'm here to show them that females can box.
And you kept on going and
Yeah.
going.
And I kept on
How do
going.
you feel knowing that you became a South African champion and then a continental champion? With the ABU, it's even worse, multiple champions there. Like, how do you feel knowing that you've gone through country situation and now continental, and that gives you an ambition to go global?
Yeah. You know, you don't really feel it when you're going through it. But when you start to think about it, when you're alone and like, okay, I've achieved so much and this, I've fought this one and this one and this one. And then you're like, who's next on the list? Okay, you got new goals now. I want to fight this one. I want to fight the world champion. I want to challenge this one. I want to fight this for this belt, you know, and it just never stops. You just have to keep on going, keep your discipline there. Your focus must be there, everything. Until the day I say, okay, let me put my gloves down.
Wow.
Yeah.
Colin, how many countries have you been to with the champion here?
So Smash has been she's been to Russia, Mexico, and then, I mean, Botswana. So, you know, in Africa. But yeah, Russia and Mexico. So Mexico was the toughest one.
Wow.
Yeah.
What did you learn in Mexico?
Yeah.
Some
Mexico.
Spanish.
Yeah, a little bit of Spanish. Yeah. But yeah, that fight, yeah.
That
was,
cheat. You
Yeah.
learned that.
But it was very tough. It was a very good experience. I got to see how they actually support boxing, female boxing. It's very huge. We're still very growing. We're still babies. But I just love the way how they promote their girls, they promote their boxers, they put on shows, promoters, you know, everything is just the boxers just need to go to training and train and fight. That's all they need to do. I wish we can get to that level here in South Africa.
Because there's undoubtedly
Yeah.
humongous talent.
Yeah, there
That needs
is.
to be supported with other resources,
Yeah.
like financial injection. Banks must
That's
come
true.
on board.
That
and-
is true. That is true.
Let's talk about sponsorship, madam, because for the champion to be the greatest champion they can be, you know, you can never take it light, the kind of support that goes towards building up a champion, and once they've become a champion, maintaining their lifestyle, because then every opponent is gunning for them.
So at Smash's level, it's important for her to have sponsorships because she can't work. You know, boxing's a full-time job for her at her level. She's got sponsors, RGM Cranes. You know, they really take care of Smash. She doesn't have to worry about rent or paying her, you know, her home. They take care of all of that. And then Discover Sport, you know, they're also a good sponsor of hers. Midvaal Municipality, her municipality also support her. You know, she's got good people that back her, and just because they love her, you know, RGM Cranes that sponsor her, they don't even worry if they've got her if she's got her logo on her kit. They just love Smash and want to see her succeed, you know, and that's important for her. You know, they're just amazing. So it's for an athlete at Smash's level, sponsorship is vital. She wouldn't be able to do what she does if it wasn't for them.
Are you just managing her or other boxers as
No,
well?
I've got 12 boxers that I manage. So I've got, the top girls are with us in our stable. And yeah, so 12.
How do you ensure that out of the 12, you maintain a special relationship with each one of them without having to compare? Everyone have their own little ugly habits sometimes
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
that you could easily get annoyed and say, "Eish, this one is not like Smash."
It's for me, if they're not disciplined and dedicated, then I don't want them in our stable, because it takes a discipline and dedication from me as well, and it costs me money. I don't get paid to do what I do when they're not fighting, as they don't get paid when they don't fight. So it's a mutual relationship. It's like a parent-child relationship. But obviously, I mean, in saying that, you always do have your favorites, the ones that just work a little harder, and you've always got your favorites.
Wow. Smash, let's talk to young boxers out there, or young potential boxers that are listening to this conversation or watching, that are inspired to try out boxing. What would you like to say to them? Because there's always that spirit that says, "Eish, maybe it's not such a good idea."
Yeah. I think I also thought so before I actually figured out that, okay, let me try that one. But I have tried other sports, of which was, karate was too slow for me, tennis, athlete, yes. And I still do running with boxing, so that's a bonus for me. And to whoever out there, child, whatever age, if you want to start something, just do it. You'll never know. I didn't know I had so much talent, and I can also upgrade on that also, and put food on the table with these hands of mine. So you'll never know. Maybe with your feet, with your hands, with your head, whatever, you can do it, and just put your focus there, and don't listen to people telling you that you can't do it. I have received words before that say, "Also, Shayabana, who you gonna be? Such small hands, small body."
But here you are.
Yeah, here I am
with evidence.
Yes, and I'm still doing it, and I'm gonna keep on doing it.
What are the do's and don'ts in the boxing ring? What is it that you can do? What is it that you can't do? Because when you watch boxing, you also look at the feet of the boxers, how they move up and down in the ring.
Yeah.
And some of them, it's like they enjoy running around the ring, hoping that as the challenger, you will slip on duty and they bring in a heavy punch. How does it work?
Hey, boxing works everything in your body. Mentally, your hands must work, your feet must work, your hips must work, everything, knees, everything, elbows. But most of all, it needs to start here first. 70% you need to be there, physically fit. 30%, I would say, because they always say boxing is a game of chess. In there, when you watch two boxers, like calculative, you just pick and choose, take a chess. Whoever does checkmate, that's a knockout for you, early night.
Have you had a fight where you felt like the judges had something strong?
More like a decision.
Like an unfair
Bad
decision.
Yeah, my fight in Russia. Okay, I could say my fight in Russia. But there was one fight where I was actually afraid, because I was fighting the favorite. I was the underdog. I think it was my 5th fight, fighting my role model. I had a picture at the gym, seeing her on TV saying, "You know what, I want to fight like that. I want to start fighting like that." Kabisile Shabalala. Of which I didn't know that a few months down the line, I'll actually sign a contract saying I'm going to fight her. I was very afraid with the judges, because I'm fighting in her hometown. She's a champion, former champion, favorite there. She's well known in the boxing industry. So I'm like,
You're trying to go up the ladder.
Yeah, I fought there. It was only 6 rounds, but I fought to the point where the decision went to split decision, which means it was like 50-50, of which I ended up winning that fight, which I was
Wow.
happy about.
Wow. How do you feel with the moment where you look up to someone only to beat them one day when you never thought it would actually happen in future?
Yeah, it feels nice, but I told myself that I'll never do it again with a boxer in South Africa because I'll never know if I'll fight them or not. Rather just play outside, worldwide. Yeah.
Wow. Colleen, your involvement in boxing looks very massive. When did it all begin?
It began for me, I think it was 2016. I can't remember. You know, I come from a fighting background. I did judo myself. My daughter competed for South Africa and won many medals. So I've always been in combat sport. So it was a natural transition for me. I managed the girls judo South African team. It was a natural transition for me to move over to boxing.
And growing up in school, did you try any sport?
Yeah, I was very sporty. In the old days, I had my Transvaal colours for netball. I had South African colours for judo. I was an all-rounder sports girl. So, yeah, sports was my life. I went to school for sport, not for school.
I love that. Some of us, you're not the only one. A lot of us did. The truth is coming out today.
Yeah.
Smash, what's your relationship with your boxing gloves?
My relationship with my boxing
You're married.
Yo, it's actually therapy because I was actually knocked down when I was younger, between the age of 7 to 9, sexually molested. And I think putting on my gloves and actually punching took out the rage, the pain, the frustration, everything in there. I think that's the reason why I fell in love more with boxing and actually put my focus there. And now that I couldn't speak then, I'm speaking now with these gloves. And I just want to put a word out there that whoever's going through it, talk about it. You know, I know that the abused are in our midst. So someone out there is going through it. I know you're listening to me. I know someone is telling you, do something about it. Start speaking about it. Yeah.
And in that unpleasant situation, it takes a real character to come out and say, I'm not going to always be under the blankets and say, you know, I got sexually abused or sexually molested and therefore, you know, my storm will never be over.
Yeah.
But you took a decision to say, I've got to do something to deal with the situation, and you're also brave to share the weight with others who could find themselves in that kind of a difficult situation. And a lot of people that are lacking mental strength might not even come back from a situation like that. What's the secret there? Is it mental strength, but also the inner you that said, come girl, you can rise and become a champion one day?
It actually became easier when I met Auntie Colleen, because she's a counselor. She's working with children. So I got to go where she's going, be with the people she's with, you know, get to share. And that made it easier for me to talk because I haven't met anyone before that I was too comfortable to talk to, even my own mother, you know. So with her, it became easier. I just started speaking, and then that's how I use my voice to actually speak out. I have a platform, which is boxing. I am on TV, so why not use it to help the others who are going through it?
And now you are on the biggest platform, Netosportsglobal.
Yes. yes.
Colleen, let's talk about the importance of this counseling that you assist the nation with, because I always say people that you get to speak to, and when you walk out of that room, you walk feeling brand new or somehow different, where you feel like something has shifted for a good cause. Those are undoubtedly nation builders. So you've got a very special gift. And a lot of time when someone goes for these counseling sessions, when it all begins, it's almost like you counsel yourself, because Colleen will come on board to facilitate and say, how do you feel? How do you want to deal with this pain? And you've got to sort of come up with answers, but also to be able to open up. It's not always easy. Like Smash is saying, to say not even her own mother, she was comfortable to speak openly. So it takes a special soul.
I think the important thing is for the victim to understand that it wasn't their fault, because they feel shame. And that's why they don't speak out, because they feel ashamed of what has happened to them. And I think and I always tell them, the sin is in the secret. When the secret is out, it's out. And it's not your fault, and you need to talk about it. And, in talking about it is healing and helping others. I mean, Smash is very involved with the children's homes, where most of them are sexually abused. She's a massive influence on those children. And, they see her, she's the absolute hero. They love her. Even when some of them go to court, they want Smash to be there because they feel protected. And they know that as long as Smash is there, they're safe. They can talk. So it's the most important thing is to let everyone that has been abused. I mean, I deal with women that have kept the secret their whole life. And don't be ashamed of what happened to you. It wasn't your fault. Speak out, because the power is with the abuser. As long as you keep it a secret, he has the power over you, he or she. So speak out, and break that power over, that hold over you. And that's when the healing really starts, when they start to speak about it.
Profound indeed. Have you ever been bullied at school?
Not really. I think I was too quiet. Maybe some saw
They
me.
didn't
as
even
too,
see you
no.
are in the room.
No. I was never bullied. I was just a quiet. Even if I know the answer in school, I'll never raise my hand until the teacher points me out.
Wow,
Yeah.
you were that shy.
Yeah.
She still is.
And you still are.
Yeah.
But not in the boxing ring.
No, I can't be.
What cap do you wear when you get to the boxing ring in terms of character now, where you can't be shy to express yourself there? You want to be a champion that you are. You want to maintain the championship lifestyle.
Yeah, I think it's focus. Shut down everything else, everyone else, whatever sound you're hearing, and focus on what's in front of you. Because whoever's in front of you signed a contract to actually, beat me up or win. So I have to block that and take the crown.
Wow. I see fancy belts here that
Yes.
other people will never get to carry unless they ask to take a picture.
Yes.
There's
How did
actually
you
a
get
third
here?
one that's not there.
This one, the ABU, I got it in 2022.
Yeah.
ESPN promotion with a girl from Tanzania. I won a unanimous decision, Halima Funjabe. And this one, I got it recently, last month, on the 26th of September,
yeah.
with a girl from Nigeria, unbeaten. Yeah, and the SA title, South African flyweight title, which is not with me, it's still with BSA. I got it fighting Temazuma in 2021. Yeah.
When you went into that fight with the Nigerian boxer undefeated, and actually I spoke to you before the fight.
Yeah.
It's always mind-blowing knowing that, just the terminology
Yeah.
of undefeated.
Yeah.
Already
Yeah.
it says to you, be scared.
Yeah,
But
I know.
you weren't shaken and broken. Here you are, you came out a victor. And looking at the rivalry of South Africa and Nigeria, even in football, we see
yes.
it. And just ordinary citizens, Nigerians this, South Africans this.
Yeah.
There's always that ongoing rivalry that I'm not certain where it comes from. I mean, if you look even in football recently, Bafana qualified for the World Cup after beating
Yeah.
Rwanda.
Yeah.
And it took Nigeria beating
Yeah.
Benin
Eish.
for Bafana to qualify. And it's a bitter pill for Nigerians because under normal circumstances, they wouldn't,
That's true.
do a favor like that to South Africa. But they also wanted to bow out decently, even if they don't qualify. So just that fight, preparing for it, but also going for that fight, knowing that this lady over here is undefeated.
Okay, yes, she was undefeated. I know she's coming in strong. She wants to keep a record. Her O is not going anywhere. I have, but in my mind, I know that I have fought unbeaten boxers before, and I've conquered in that fight. So for me, I was like, we're both human. She's a boxer, I'm a boxer. She bleeds, I bleed. She sweats, I sweat. So it's just the two of us there. So all I have to do is to train, see how she fights. Coach had the game plan. Do what we are here to do. Take the belt and go home. The record don't matter. If you start putting that into consideration, then you are out of the game completely. So my focus had to be in training, focus on the game plan, being fit, and then go in the ring and fight. That's all I had to do.
Wow.
Yeah.
Colleen, for Smash to get to these belts and be able to maintain this championship way of life, you also play a role. For an example, if she's going to fight someone that she doesn't know very well, you've got to assist with the homework of who are we dealing with, what's their strong points. Talk to us about what happens when she's in the gym saying, I'm going to start with this punching bag before I lay my hands on this opponent, but you doing something behind the scenes to support her.
Yeah, so I mean, just to keep Smash in the rankings last year, we had to, because, she's going to become inactive, so you've got to stay active because she didn't get enough opportunities in South Africa. So, you had to make that happen, so you pay for that fight. So as a manager, I paid for the fight, let her come back into the rankings, which took her right up to 3.
5.
I know, but then we took her up to 6 in the world because she got back into the rankings because of the fight, because she defended her ABU title, and which then bumped her up to, I think you ended up at number 3, 3 in the world, and we got a chance at the WBC in Mexico. We don't go to Mexico to win. It's not easy. You have to win on a knockout there. All the judges are from Mexico. She's the favorite. But, I mean, it's the chance we had to take because you don't get them in South Africa. So you've just got to make those things happen. It takes a lot of work behind the scenes, a lot.
Smash, let's talk a little bit about that. When you fight, let's say, a Mexican in Mexico with judges being from there, and you know that the only thing you can do is to do your best.
Yeah.
What's driving you there to say you've got to fight and convince the judges otherwise, although the opponent is their favorite?
I knew very well just before the fight, when we had a meeting with the rules, about the rules of the belts and everything. So when they said, because Auntie Colleen asked the judges, where are they from? They said they're from Mexico. The referee, the judges, everyone's from Mexico. So I knew very well, I already took it in mind that if we go the distance, doesn't matter how well I did or how dominant I did, but I think I might not pull this one through. I have to win on a knockout. So I already had that in mind, but I had to also kick it out in order to focus on the fight. What I'm here to do, I'm here to fight. What I had to do was fight and make myself proud, give my all, make my country proud. Everyone who's watching, the fans, as long as they enjoyed. That I just had to do my best. That's all I had to do.
Yeah, she did.
Wow.
She
Is
broke.
it normal, though, Colleen, to have judges from the country of
So,
one of the opponents?
Before, when we negotiated, they said that the judges wouldn't be from Mexico because I requested that, we have judges out of Mexico. It should be like that, neutral judges. But, yeah, it doesn't work like that. WBC is in Mexico, and she works for the government as well, Sanchez. She was the favorite there. I mean, it was a 3-floor Coliseum. Was packed, with supporters. They booed us. They booed us. But, so we knew what we were going to. And although Smash broke her nose in the first round, broke the Sanchez's nose in the first round bad, was bad. So they knew they had to come with another trick, I mean, she took 26 blows to the back of the head, not one warning even to Sanchez. So, we knew what we were dealing with. So it was no surprise, but we didn't think it was going to be so dirty. But, I mean, she made us proud. She made South Africa proud. And she went the full 10 rounds, but obviously lost.
And she made
by
Africa
unanimous.
proud.
Yeah.
54 countries in this continent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people know that you are a professional boxer, but you are also plowing back. You've encouraged this one teenager that I got to speak to about her
Caitlin.
boxing career. Yeah. And it warmed my heart, to say it's not just about you being the champion and enjoying being the champion, but you also think of the upcoming generation.
Yeah.
And it's such a beautiful story to inspire someone to end up considering what you're doing, and they make it theirs as well.
That's true. For me, yes, I do win belts, I do win fights, but at the end of the day, I don't make it about myself. It's always about them. Encouraging them. If they're starting, there was no one to encourage me, so I can do it to someone else, just to draw people into the sport, also draw girls into the sport, females into the sport. Let's grow the sport together. Let's make it beautiful. Tell your story, I tell my story. I think these belts are actually for them. I don't actually even embrace them at home. I just put them in the bag and put them in the cupboard. When you need them, that's when I take them out and then put them on display. But it's actually I fight for them. It's actually for them. So for me, it's to just keep on pouring my heart out and keep doing what I do best and show the world that I can do it. And that's all.
Marvelous.
Yeah,
Colleen-
boxing has become Smash's purpose. That's where she found her purpose, was in boxing, where she found her voice, and her fists have become her voice. So, she's changed so many children's lives. It's unbelievable,
Nation builder right there.
Yeah, she is.
In your stable with about 12 fighters, what sort of activities do they do together?
So, I mean, they do running. Obviously, that's a big part of boxing. Also conditioning. We have a conditioning coach, strength and conditioning. It's intense training. 5 days a week. It depends, on the fights. Sometimes 2 sessions a day, running, and then the strength and conditioning, and then sparring. So it's a full program. We've got like I say, our strength and conditioning coach, as well as the boxing coach. So it's a full team, behind her.
Wow, amazing indeed. How do you feel knowing that you've got such a good support system?
It makes you feel good because when the time comes when you actually down, you have your team to, lift you up. Yeah, you have someone to help with sparring in order to get back in the game. When I only had the last two years, I fought once a year, of which was not enough. But I had stablemates that I helped to spar, prepare for fights. That just keeps you in the game because some say, okay, I don't have a fight. Let me just go stay at home and not do anything. Meanwhile, it's not, you just taking like 7 steps behind. So I just had to keep on going like that. Going, if we've got an event, children, if we're going to eat with the children, play with the children, I always attend those, doing drum blade park run together as a team. I always do that just to keep motivated and keep being in the game and being active all the time.
Wow. Any terrible injury that you've experienced before, and how did you bounce back from it?
Terrible physical.
Yeah, I know mentally you can't be touched.
Mentally, I'm very strong now if you can't touch me. But I don't have any major injuries, but obviously shin splints, with the running. I've had knuckles, my wrist. It's still recovering even. This bump here, recently, this was recent before I fought for the WBO. But it's something that's always going to be there with injuries, all the time. But we always push through it. There's nothing major that I have.
Wow. What is it that you would still like to achieve for you to one day say, I've done it all, even if I can say goodbye tomorrow to boxing as a fighter? I know, professionals, they retire as professional fighters and they go back to the boxing ring the next day as coaches or as trainers. So you can never really divorce the sport. But just for you to find that satisfaction to say, at one point, it was just watching a movie, to studying by going to the gym, being an amateur boxer, being a professional boxer, winning titles in the country, on the continent, and you keep going at that ladder. And I always say the sky is not the limit, the mind is.
Yes, definitely. For now, I don't have any limits, but I still want to see more belts on this table, which is my biggest one. It's actually WBC belt. But yes, I didn't get it in Mexico, but I still wish for another opportunity to actually get that belt. Yeah. So, yeah, I think that's the main one for me. But if I can get other ones,
I want them all.
I want them all. Yeah.
Wow. Colleen, realistically, how many fights can a boxer have in a year?
At Smash's level, I would say not more than 4. Because, it's 10 rounds and the training is so intense, that your body needs to recover. At that level, she needs to fight at least 4 a year, minimum 3 a year, just to keep her busy and defending her titles, because you've got time frames that you've got to defend the titles, otherwise you get stripped from them. So to just keep the titles, you have to defend so much. But for a boxer that is up and coming, I would say every second month is good to fight. They need to fight at least 6 to 8 times a year to be able to build a record. That's important, but that doesn't happen. But that's how we're going to build champions in South Africa. They can't fight. You get boxers that are only fighting 4 rounds and they fight once a year. They can't build, We're not going to make world champions like that.
Yeah.
We need more promoters to put more shows on.
As we wrap up, what do you think is the state of boxing, especially women in boxing or women's boxing in South Africa and the African continent?
So when I came into boxing, it was shocking, especially for women in boxing. We weren't very well met. We weren't... some men thought we had to take over. We're not. We had to work with you. Women bring something else. That's
very true.
Something else. There's, instead of they didn't really embrace us. But it's changed. It has improved. It's not where it should be at all. It has, but it is changing. The tide is turning, and girls are getting more opportunities now. We do have good promoters that are now putting the females on more. And, Smash, we'll make a big announcement soon. We're still in negotiations, but, there's a big announcement coming for Smash soon. I'm in negotiations with that now.
Colleen Mcausland, a sister, an aunt, a manager, everything to Simangele Hadebe. Thank you so much for pulling through to Netosportsglobal.
Thanks for
Thank you
having
so
us.
much
So
for
it's always
having
good
us.
to chat to you.
Yeah. Smash, as we wrap up, your wishes, what would you like to see in women's boxing happening in South Africa and continentally?
I want to see actually women champions, boxers being here, exposed on the media, getting more fights, getting sponsorships, being managed properly. I want to see that kind of a change so we can motivate them. We can be able to motivate the young ones that are up and coming, so that, because I see some actually cut their career very short because of how it's going in South Africa. So we need more of that in order to build more world champions to represent us in other countries in the world. We need that.
Yes or no answer. Are you going to Los Angeles in 2028 for the Olympics?
Yes.
Yes. I love that. I love that. Thank you so much for pulling through to NSG.
Thank you so much.
That's how we wrap up, but of course, it's not a cul-de-sac, it's just a detour. We'll meet again on episode 9. My name is Neto, N-E-T-O, Chemani. Hosiati, Konyangazi, Mumka, Pandle Kunjani, Moyani, Vugu Tendele. This is Netosportsglobal, #NSG, and proudly supported and sponsored by the Academy of Sound Engineering, #ASE. Remember to do the right thing, like and subscribe. Tell the person next to you to stop messing up with their data and do the right thing too by liking and subscribing to Netosportsglobal. Cheers.
Netosportsglobal. Netosportsglobal. Hashtag NSG. Remember to like and subscribe.